Good morning, good evening, and good afternoon, everybody. Hope everybody's having a fantastic day. Today it is Thursday. That means it is time for high probability short term profits live. First up, we're going to talk about a quick market review. What happened with NVIDIA? It's kind of surprising, but also kind of not. Anyways, let's get to the sniper portfolio. We're still at that 90% win rate. 47 winners out of 72, out of 52, 47 out of 52 winners. Then we're going to talk about some recent trades. Three of them that we're going to talk about today: SEDG, TAN, and DIS. Then we're going to give you a brand new shiny trade. And we're also going to go over some of your stocks. So get those in the chat now. Mr. Mike Wade, how you doing, sir?
Hey, I'm doing great. Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm wondering what happened with NVIDIA. I thought everybody was saying they're either going to move up or they're going to move down or they're going to move some way. But
I thought they were going to move some way, you know?
yeah,
Let's pop up that graphic because it sort of tells the whole story. NVIDIA, I mentioned on the AI show yesterday that NVIDIA is the top weighted company in the S&P 500. So where NVIDIA goes, the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ, it's the second biggest component of the NASDAQ 100. And NVIDIA has a great influence on the rest of the market. And I woke up early this morning and I can't get my hands off the computer to go check the stock market. I think I woke up at like 3 or 4 in the morning. I just moved last night. I'm in a new place in the jungle. And I was like, what? NVIDIA shares slumped 3% in the pre-market as revenue grows. It nearly doubled its revenue, beat expectations for sales and earnings, and delivered a better than expected forecast. So they doubled, beat, and raised. And NVIDIA got taken behind the woodshed and spanked a little bit. It was down 3% in the pre-market. Now, why, you might ask? Well, if you look at the prior 3 earnings periods, the revenue had grown more than 94%. And so it's like investors and traders have gotten spoiled on their sales growth being well into the 3 digits. 265, 262, 122. So that was success. 122 was last quarter, 262 the one before that. So you can see that sales growth is declining. And that's why NVIDIA was down 3%. Let's take a look and see where NVIDIA is now. NVIDIA is trading right in the same range. So it was down 3% pre-market. Currently, it's up a slight bit. It's at 149 right now. So that's a little bit higher. It's right at this resistance level at 150. All right. So that level there at 150 is all-time high resistance. NVIDIA's never traded above 150 post-split. And are we going to go there today? I don't know. But I'm not going to go bullish on this thing unless it's above 150. And so we can keep an eye on this. The market's open in about 12 minutes. So we'll keep an eye on this and we'll see how it does. And I'll give you a plan for perhaps doing something with this, even if we don't decide to take a trade on NVIDIA today. All right, so there's NVIDIA, and then we can go right to the S&P 500, and the ETF that I track is the SPYs, and the SPYs are due to open up at 593. So the SPYs are up 3 points, all right, above this 590 level, which had held. It was breached here and then held when we came down last week, and we're going to open up higher than that. And remember, I'm reluctant to continue a bullish prognosis, or at least I have a bullish prognosis, but I'm not going to go bullish on the S&P 500 or the markets, generally the markets, unless we get a close above 600. Why? 600 all-time highs on the S&P 500. So we're not far from there, and we may continue up. We may dance between 590 and 600, but really what we want to see is a nice, strong, bullish trend like we see here. And until we get above 600, I'm cautiously bullish, but I'm gonna be careful about taking bullish trades. Now, snipers is different though. So that's a general trader's distinction. But in snipers, it doesn't matter so much. It can matter, but it doesn't matter so much what the market direction is because we're looking for opportunities. We're looking for really good news or really bad news. We come in and we sell credit spreads so far away from the stock that we generally end up with a 90% win rate. And indeed, that's Ryan, let's put that up real quick. I think this is a good time to talk about it. So pretty much regardless of market conditions, we've been able this year on this show, we put 52 trades on. 47 of them have been winners. 5 were losers. Every system loses. Every system loses. 5 out of 52 losers is pretty darn good. Our win rate is 90%. Our average profit per trade this year has been 10.56% with an average hold time for each trade at 6 days. So, you can do the math. You could continue to do that every 6 days. And, if those numbers come true in your account, that's a really nice monthly return. So that's what the Snipers program is all about. And we do have a guidebook, Brian. I'm sorry. I make it hard on Ryan because I jump around on the script. We have a run sheet and we get ourselves organized before the start of the show. But we do have a guidebook to walk you through all 5 steps. It's free, costs nothing. You can grab it by hitting the link underneath the video and the recording. It'll be under the recording as well. And you can download this guide that will walk you through 5 steps. The 5 steps of finding, identifying lines in this, identifying candidates, the kind of news we like to see, the lines in the sand, aka support resistance, credit spreads. What are they? How do you build them? How do you manage them? Importantly, the most important is the management. How do you handle loss management and profit management? So it's a free guide. Grab it and join it. Read it. It's graphical, lots of pictures, and you can watch it, look at it, read it, observe the images, and perhaps you can start dancing with Ryan and I every Thursday morning at 9:15. All right, Ryan, we do have we got 8 minutes before the market opens, and we're going to look at NVIDIA, but I'm not doing anything with it at the open because it's between support and resistance, as I just said. But we do have another one. It's a cloud computing company called Snowflake. So Snowflake blew it out. The stock is up 20% after lifting product revenue outlook. So they beat and they raised, and the stock is trading. Let's take a look at Snowflake. SNOW is the symbol. Let's pull up a chart. I'm using the Hub software, which is freaking fantastic, I have to say. And here's the stock chart as it was before they announced their earnings. All right. Now, currently, the stock is trading at 161, just over 161. Now, lines in the sand are really important. So round numbers are where they tend to be. And the one line that I'm mostly concerned about right now is this 160 level. So you can look left. It's one of the sayings I use in my sniper community. We do have a sniper community that meets on Mondays, every Monday at 9 a.m. And I say, look left, identify prior support and resistance at round numbers. So let me make this exactly 160. And you'll notice that there was resistance here. Look, let's zoom in a little bit on this part of the chart. So look at this. It's just gorgeous that this happens. Resistance here, resistance. You can see how there's turning points where the stock moves up, stops, and goes the other way. Dead on 160 twice, dead on 160 twice. It does break above, holds above 160 once, comes back down. So this level, now these levels do get breached. That's important to note. They do get breached, of course, but they can serve as guardrails. And so my concern here on this one is the stock going to hold above 160? Because that's resistance. It's going to open up a point and a half above in about 5 minutes. So, and I have a special rule called the blue sky rule. You don't want to put on it. You got to be careful. Let's say it this way, a better way to say it. You got to be careful about putting on a credit spread where you're expecting, for example, the stock to stay above 140, you know, because if the stock hits that level and then decides to do one of these numbers, then you could find yourself in a losing trade. Now, one of the things that's really good about this chart with the stock above 161 is this blue line here, which is the 200-day moving average. What's the big deal about that? That's a strong support resistance level as well. And if you can find a stock that gaps above that level, then it gives you more, it gives you a level of safety that allows you to get closer to the stock. So I wouldn't do 140 normally. And what am I saying? What do I mean by that? I mean, if we put our line at 140, or line in the sand at 140, and the stock hits 160 and starts to retrace, at least we would have the 200-day moving average as a layer of protection. So that's a level I'll consider. I'm not going to do it this morning unless the stock is above 160 for maybe 10 minutes or so. We'll take a look. But, it doesn't hurt to just put a line, just throw a hook in the water. So I'm going to do this at the open here. Now, I don't think we're going to get enough credit, but it doesn't hurt to try, because in the morning, after a 20% gap up in the stock, this thing called implied volatility, what's that? It's like the expense of the options. Market makers lift prices on stocks that are gapping in the morning, and you can get a little extra credit sometimes. Not always, but sometimes. So my line in the sand here, I'm going to open with, is right down here at 130. Okay, so that's a lot farther away than 140, of course. And as you drop your credit spread line in the sand, you get less money, less credit. So as I drop it, less credit. So I'm going to start at 130, see how the stock performs over the first maybe 10 minutes of the market. And then if I see it making another run up, then I'll come in and consider 140. So that's my game. Doesn't hurt to ask. I've got 3 minutes, so I don't need to rush. You don't need to rush, Mikey. So I'm going to go into a simulated thinkorswim broker environment. The stock symbol, SNOW. I go to trade. Notice there's weekly granularity. 15 days is the 2-week trade, is about where I like to be. That's the sweet spot typically. And then I'm going to go after 130. So let me build the 130. Now let's see, the stock's at 161. It's up $31. So yesterday there was 52 cents credit at 130. There won't be that this morning, but I know my minimum credit, the minimum credit that I'll accept, no less than 10% of the distance between the strikes. So there's $1 distance between the strikes. 10% of $1 is 10 cents. Am I going to get that? Probably not, but it doesn't hurt to try. I'm going to do 5 contracts, and I'm going to put this in as a GTC. You can use GTCs to spur on fills. Sometimes it helps. Not all the time, but it is a good way to try to get a fill. And then if you use that, be sure to cancel it by the end of the day if you don't want the trade. So you got to be responsible to not let that thing sit out there for a couple of weeks. It's just not a good idea. So if you don't get filled by the end of the day and you use GTCs, cancel them before market close. All right, now I'm going to confirm and send. We got 35 seconds. It's sitting there. Let me give you this order. December 6, 130s. Snowflake. I want to make this as clean as possible for those that want to play. I'm after the 130 put. I want the 129 underneath. Quite unlikely we're going to get filled, but man, it doesn't hurt to ask. All right, so once you put the order in, and if you do get filled, then you got to manage your loss. Number one. So the loss would be, and we're off, Ryan. The loss would be you buy the spread back, if the stock closes underneath your line in the sand, which is 130 for us. If that happens, manage your risk, take the trade off for a loss, move on to the next. So that's the only thing you have to do after you place your profit order, which is to buy the spread back for 10% of what you sold it for. If we get 10 cents, we want to buy it back for a penny. So your profits are handled for you automatically. All you got to do once you're in is to keep an eye on the stock. And if Snowflake, we're going to go take a look and see what the stock's doing. Wow, it's above 160 and starting to rise more. All right. So anyway, let me finish my thought. It doesn't look like Snowflake's coming down to 130, so we're going to move this up. But if you happen to get in the trade at 130 and the stock closes beneath 130, then close the trade off for a loss, manage loss at market close. So that's the system. It's right in the guidebook. Everything I'm saying here is in the guidebook. All right. Let's go back to the live trade. How we doing? They'll give us 1 cent. Yeah, my price is 10. So what do I do? Well, let's give it a bit more time. I'm going to go up to 135. Look left. Support. I didn't even look over here, but on the price itself, I knew that was going to be 135. And look, 135. So let's try there, and if that doesn't work, we might go up to 140. So I'm going to inch this line in the sand up 5 points. Oh my God, they gave it to me. Wow. Now, I will say that the simulated environment sometimes gives you better fills, so that might not be available for you. Now, I'm tracking with the simulated environment, so I'm going to keep doing that. But let's just try, just for fun, what would be available at 135. There's 3 cents. So I'm just going to go up until I get 10 cents. 136, that's the short. Nope. 137, nope. 140 is as close as I want to get. That's a reasonable trade as well. And you'd put that in for 10 cents. So there is a trade available at 140. I like it because, yes, it too is support and resistance. It is also below the 200-day average. And right now, we could probably get 10 cents. So let's put that one in just for fun. All right, so let me give you this trade as well, because I don't think that all of you were able to get 10% on this one. But you could do the same thing. Just lift up the short strike to 140. That's our line in the sand, our new line in the sand. And then you buy underneath at 139. Snowflake. All right, let's go take a look at NVDA. What's it doing? What you doing, NVIDIA? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. NVIDIA is setting all-time highs as I speak. I'm not convinced. I am not convinced yet. You know why? This is the last time they had earnings. Look here. They announced the same thing, and they were even better than this earnings. And the stock hit 130 and then went and then came down. And so although the stock's at 150.67 right now, 150.50 or so, it's just slightly above 150. I would let this one roll for a bit. Give it till, later in the market day. And deriving your lines in the sand, I'd say if NVIDIA is above 150, maybe 152, 153 in the next half hour, see, NVIDIA is already starting to come down. All right, so the power of these support resistance levels cannot be underestimated. They are, in my opinion, the strongest, most valuable thing that you can put on a chart is a horizontal line at round numbers. 150 in this case. Look what's happening. I told you, I'm not buying it yet. And then the stock's starting to come down. So we got to give this one some room to breathe, maybe for, maybe halfway through the day, see where it's at. And you never know if this happens. And there was no reason for NVIDIA to come down like this. No bad news came out. NVIDIA tanked. So that's what I'm concerned about on NVIDIA. I know historically this happened after great earnings, and we may see the same thing. So I'm going to be patient on this one, and I'm definitely not willing to sell a bearish credit spread on NVIDIA because there's no bad news anywhere. Just that they're not doing they didn't blow it out as much as they did the prior quarter. I mean, that's bad news. So NVIDIA could very well set higher heights. So it's a tricky one and one to keep an eye on. And I'll keep my eye on it. If you're in the MWT trade coach, Michael Wade trade coaching community, of course, we'll be looking at NVIDIA pretty much every day. All right, Ryan, that's our 2 trades for the day, 1 trade and 1 potential trade on NVIDIA.
Love
Any
it.
questions, comments?
Yeah, a couple comments. 2 people actually suggested snow, so that always makes me laugh.
Yeah, we got
um,
that means that our community is learning stuff, man. It's really
yeah,
really cool.
love it.
Mhm.
David says PayPal.
PayPal, yeah, let's look. I haven't seen PayPal today. PYPL is the symbol. Let's take a look at PayPal. What's it doing? It's flat at the moment. I'm actually bullish on PayPal. Let me draw you a line here. I'm just going to draw a line at 85. Not 84, not 86, not 85.50, but 85. And you'll notice here, let me make this exactly 85. And what you'll notice is that has been support resistance right in this area here. So I don't see any big move in the stock. So I would anticipate there's been no news. If you want to snipe the way I snipe, we put a technically interesting or technically high probability trade just with the technicals and the use of a credit spread far away from the stock. That gives probability, but then we go after news. So we want the extra wind of either good or bad news at our backs. And so I'm going to take a look at PayPal. Oh my God, excuse me. I've never done that before. Sorry about that. Oh my God.
That was beautiful.
Oh, thank you, man. I'm like losing my mind here. Like, oh my God, that just happened. That's because I'm comfortable. You're welcome. That was a sign that I really enjoy being here. All right. Let's see. 1 hour ago, a firm CEO touts pay now, buy later, or buy now, pay later. We have lots of irons in that fire. PayPal fixes outages that affect thousands worldwide. I don't see any news, at least recent news on PayPal. I would want, I prefer, and certainly in the sniper's approach, we got to have some news. I don't see it. Here though, was a really nice close above 85. And that was, I believe that's even an all-time high on PayPal. And it's come down a bit and basing. I like PayPal though above the tops of these bars here, which is about 87.50. Let's put it at 87.50. Look at that. See, I didn't even. It's just how these support resistance works. Yeah, PayPal has had some good earnings back over here. I remember now, and the stock is dancing with 87.50 resistance, and then wait for the stock to be above 87.50, and then I would consider this a bullish trade. But nothing. I wouldn't do anything with it just yet. Let's be patient and wait for PayPal to continue its bullish run.
Cool.
All
Sweet.
right.
Got another one. GD.
Oh my God, man. This was General Dynamics was had a really high AI score. And then one of Trump's appointees was not deemed good for the defense contractors. And even though we've got war, even though the U.S. is supporting Ukraine and Israel with war weaponry, General Dynamics is just coming down. Now, they had good earnings. There's nothing about the company's past earnings that are this negative. This has to do with the change of administration that'll happen in January with the new Trump administration. and defense contractors are taking it on the chin. And so what I've been looking at this one as well, and what concerns me, technically speaking, on this one, I'm going to draw a line at 290. Look left, 290 support, 290 support. Now it does dance around it a little bit, but support there, resistance, resistance, support, support, and breached through support and the 200-day average, and then kept going. It does have support though at, look left, 280. So it is now dancing with 280. It doesn't want to close. Let me make it exactly 280 right there ish. Yeah. So it doesn't want to close below 280. We could see a bounce here. The only thing I would do on this is sell a credit spread, maybe up here at 290, just above this 200-day average. So maybe 295. But the thing that makes me nervous about this one is that this was all speculation that Trump's cabinet will be bad for defense contractors, but nothing's happened. It's just based on speculation. And so what concerns me about this one is we could very well have a broker come out and say, hey, bargain hunting on General Dynamics, strong buy, and then General Dynamics retraces. Back here, and even the AI scores, and this is the other part of it. Let me show you the AI score. You know, it's no longer there. Okay. There it is. Got it. So here it had an AI score of 76. So the intelligence, what's available as far as data that the AI model uses and almost always works. It's a highly probable system, very accurate. And that tells me again that this is just a knee-jerk reaction. The stock has come down with no bad news other than Trump's cabinet is going to be bad for defense contractors, and it got hammered. It's very likely, I would say, that at some point we're going to get a bounce. So I got to stay away from this one with credit spreads. Now, there's other types of strategies that I use outside of credit spreads, like broken wing butterflies and things like that. That would be a perfect opportunity on this one. But yeah, it's too volatile. There's too much contradiction. So I'd be careful with it.
Cool. You got time for two more?
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So
Sure.
two people have said PDD.
Pinduoduo, Chinese company. I was looking at this one too. Let's see what it's doing now. Yeah, they had earnings. They just had earnings, and the stock hasn't done anything. So let's just check to see what the earnings are.
Steve says that PDD down on bad earnings and bad guidance.
Yeah, let's look. Thank you, Steve. PDD stock tumbles on miss as intensified competition slows Temu parents' growth. Slowest revenue growth in more than 2 years. Profit miss, intensified competition, and external challenges. See, that's bad news. Sometimes I feel like a vampire. We find stocks that are in bad shape. There it is. I totally missed it. But yeah, Pinduoduo is all the way down here. Yeah, this is a good one. This is a really good one. Let me show you some lines in the sand. Look left at 110. Ba-boom. 110. This is so beautiful. 110 resistance and became support here. It bounced off 110 here. The stock is now down all the way to 105, which is also a level of support. So that line there should keep us safe in the event the stock starts to bounce. It hasn't yet. It's right where it opened 14 minutes into the market. It's trading about 106. It's not moving anywhere. I don't know if you can all see that because it's small. But Pinduoduo is just not doing nothing. Yeah, it's down big, but it's just flat. All right. Now, where can we put our line in the sand? Well, I'd say 115. 110 would be too close. Yeah, we're only 14 minutes in the market. Institutions and traders are not sure where to take it next. and it's just dancing sideways. So could it come to 110 in a heartbeat? Yeah. So I wouldn't do 110. I would consider 115 though, but ideally I would like it at 120. 120, round number. Support resistance right through here. So 120 would be, I won't call it a no-brainer, but it would be the ideal place to sell. And so let's go take a look. And let's just see what's available. Pinduoduo has weekly options. Yay! And so I'm going to pull up the option chain, and I want to see what's available at 120. Oh my goodness. Yeah, there's 7 cents there. You could maybe get 10 if you let it sit. It's already down to 5. So in order to get more credit, what I have to do visually, I'll show you. What I have to do is drop my line in the sand to closer to the heat of the stock. And I like 118. Look left, right there. Support resistance, resistance, resistance. So that level is at 118. Oops, let me try that again. I'm just going to put the line exactly where, what is going on? Am I mistyping this? All right. So that would be a decent level. I like 120 better, but 118 would be interesting. Let's see what's there at 118. 118, there's 6 cents. At 119, there's 8. 127. Let's do this. Let's do the 119. I'm going to ask for 10 cents. If this thing pops a little bit, you'll get filled on that. Let's see what the stock's doing. Yeah, it just doesn't want to make a recovery so far. It could later though. Understand that. I'm going to set this at 119 and then put it in for 10 cents. Use the GTC if you want to potentially get a faster fill. Confirm and send. And let me give you this one. This is this December 6, 119s on PDD. Here's the trade. 119 put. 118 underneath. And get 10 cents. It's not there yet, and we want calls, of course. I need to change that. All right, so here's the PDD order, sell to open the December 6th. PDD is a symbol. 119 call. I got that wrong. And then buy the higher one at 120. So do that for 10 cents, and then follow the exit rules that we consistently use here. Good one. Was that Steve?
That was Steve and Thea Belio.
Go, Steve and Thea, man. Good trade. I like it.
Very nice. If you got Tom, we have Baidu as well. BIDU.
Also a Chinese company. Baidu. E-commerce. Rivals Google. Yeah, I want to see some movement. I don't. Well, actually, there it is. See, it's doing the same thing as PDD, right? I almost didn't see it, but the stock has come down hard. Why? Probably earnings, right? Baidu. And let's see here. Revenue slides, weak online ads. What else we got here? Baidu reports rise in net income. So this is mixed news now. Yes, their revenue slid. Weak online ads market impacts margins. And also, that's negative. And then the other part that's not negative is that they had a 14% rise in net income. So the importance of that is that the stock, because the news isn't all bad or all good, this stock has more a chance to bounce because it's not all bad. So I would stay away from this one. And Baidu and PDD, Pinduoduo are in both Chinese companies. So I you might think about not doing more than one or two one Chinese company. Recently, back over here, China talked about stimulating their economy, and all Chinese stocks came up, and then they've all drifted down. So the volatility comes from the Chinese government. So you got to be careful on these. But I would leave this one. If you do like it, despite what I've said, if you can get something up here at 90, I doubt you will. And then come down maybe to the top of this bar right here. So that's where it was yesterday. The news was mixed. And could it return from whence it came? Yeah, it could. So I wouldn't go any lower than this line right here and this line here. Let's call it 87, the nearest round number. So a reasonable trade under 87. But again, their net income was better than expected. So we could very well get a rash of buyers after they've been spanked for, an hour or two, maybe. This one has a decent chance of recovery. So I'd be careful with that one because the news isn't all bad. Pinduoduo, what's it done? Okay, so it's come up a little bit. So it looks like we got filled at this 119 level. Let's take a look. Yeah, we got it. We got 14 cents for that 119, 120 call spread. So that got filled. And why did it get filled? Well, the stock, while I was talking about Baidu, came up to 110. Look, the high of the day, 110. That's a round number. It hit 110 and said, wah, 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 not so much. It's come back down. And then in this bounce here, we got filled right up here at 119. So that's a fill, Ryan. We got that one too. We ended up getting 14 cents on Pinduoduo. All right, Ryan. Good show today, man.
Absolutely. Lots of good stocks.
Yeah, man. Let's take a look at Bitcoin real quick. Bitcoin. Now I can't show you Bitcoin in the current version of the Hub software. I can show you Bitto, but let me just do this in this particular package here. I'm going to show you Bitcoin or BTC. The futures are coming. Look at Bitcoin, Ryan. You got any Bitcoin, brother?
I have $250 worth, which is now up to like 320. So,
all right.
Oh yeah, living large over here.
Yeah, man. 10,000 resistance. We came close today. So Bitcoin is on fire. If you want to trade Bitcoin, there's other ETFs that just came out, but I'm going to show you this one on Bitto. This is the one that's been around for a while. And look what Bitto just did. So this ETF has options. Okay, so you could sell a credit spread on Bitto. Where? Well, find a line in the sand, maybe 23. And, Bitcoin's volatile. It can tank. It has before. You got to be careful. But Bitto at 23 to me would be reasonable. Certainly 22, even more reasonable. And another one that, if you have Tom's Tools, that just came out in Tom's Tools is BlackRock's spot ETF. It's called IBIT. IBIT. And that instrument just got put on the boards. And how long has it been trading? Now it has options. So it opened down here back in January, spot ETF, and it's at all-time highs. So you can trade Bitcoin with IBIT or Bitto, and there's more. There's more of them. Those are the two primary ones that I like, but there's other ones that you can trade as well. So Bitcoin is on the rise, baby. Ryan, I think that's enough for today. I could sit here for the entire day, but I'm not going to. Thanks for joining us. And I know you don't want to hang out for another 5 hours, do you?
Yeah, sure. Let's do it.
No, you should have said no, man.
Oh, no, definitely not.
No, it'd be nice. But anyway, everybody, thanks for joining the show today. We'll get together. Actually, next Thursday is Thanksgiving. So the markets are closed. There's nothing for us to snipe. And if you're celebrating Thanksgiving, wish you all a very happy Thanksgiving. I'm heading to Houston to see my mom and my 3 brothers and my niece and nephew and aunt and uncle. All my family's in Houston. So that's where I'll be this time next week. Ryan, what are you doing for Thanksgiving, man?
I've like 4 of them that I got to go to and a
Mm.
basketball tournament. So it's going to be a busy couple days there.
Are you going to eat at all 4 of them?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Listen, I didn't get to be 6'5", 250 pounds by passing up a Thanksgiving meal.
No, that's right. You don't look that big on the
Yeah, I
on the
appreciate that.
camera. All right, everybody. Thank you, Ryan. It's always a pleasure, brother. Thanks for your support. And have a good weekend, everybody. And a happy Thanksgiving. We'll see you soon.